Sesaat lagi Anda akan menyaksikan Insight with Desi Anwar. In association with...
Kalau kita sekarang ingin menjual atau membeli barang, tentu kita sudah melakukannya lewat platform digital atau e-commerce. Nah, ini termasuk menjual atau membeli mobil bekas. Jadi sekarang di Indonesia ini sudah ada bisnis model yang baru, yaitu menggunakan platform e-commerce untuk melakukan transaksi antara penjual dan pembeli mobil bekas. Nah, bagaimana animo masyarakat Indonesia terhadap penjualan dan pembelian mobil bekas? Insight with Desi Anwar kali ini berada di CARSOME, ya, sebuah perusahaan dealer penjual dan pembeli mobil bekas yang berbasis e-commerce. Kita akan melihat bagaimana kira-kiranya model bisnis seperti ini dan bagaimana juga ketertarikan masyarakat Indonesia untuk menggunakannya.
Dalam beberapa tahun terakhir, pasar mobil bekas yang berkembang di Indonesia secara bertahap menjadi lebih terstruktur karena ketersediaan persyaratan pembiayaan yang lebih fleksibel, saluran dealer resmi dan terstandarisasi, serta transparansi informasi yang lebih baik. Hal ini juga didukung dengan kehadiran platform dan marketplace online yang menyuguhkan konsep berbeda dalam usaha memaksimalkan potensi pasar. Salah satu platform jual beli mobil bekas yang juga sudah tidak asing di dunia otomotif adalah CARSOME. Mulai masuk ke pasar Indonesia sekitar tahun 2017 dengan model bisnis consumer to business C2B, CARSOME menyediakan platform berbasis website untuk masyarakat menjual mobil bekasnya. Guna melengkapi ekosistem bisnisnya, CARSOME membuka segmen C2B2C dengan melakukan ekspansi lewat Experience Center. Dengan kombinasi fisik dan digital, CARSOME memberi pengalaman jual dan beli mobil bekas berkualitas melalui proses yang transparan.
Saat ini saya berada di showroom CARSOME di Puri Kembangan di Jakarta Barat. Saya didampingi oleh CEO CARSOME, Andrew Mawikere. I'm pronouncing your name correctly, I hope. Andrew, apa kabar?
Good. How are you, Mbak Desi?
I'm very well. Dan saya tuh paling suka ya kalau mewawancarai seorang CEO yang masih muda. Karena ini berarti Indonesia itu betul-betul memiliki SDM berkualitas yang bersaing. Nah, Andrew, CARSOME Indonesia, ya, seperti kita lihat di sini, ini banyak mobil, jadi tentu saja berkaitan dengan jual beli mobil, tapi dalam hal ini jual beli mobil bekas, dan CARSOME Indonesia ini merupakan salah satu dari cabang CARSOME itu sendiri. Mungkin bisa cerita mengenai apa CARSOME itu, di mana saja dan kapan mulai beroperasi.
Sure. Good morning, Mbak Desi. Again, thank you for being here. We want to welcome you to our CARSOME Puri Experience Center, one of the 44 locations that we have. So CARSOME is actually a Southeast Asia largest integrated used car platform, or pre-owned platform. We leverage...
And the headquarter is where?
The regional headquarter is actually out of Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, and Indonesia, obviously Jakarta. And we leverage technology and data to bring trust, transparency, and choice to our customer so we can create a peace of mind when they own a vehicle. To put it simply, we are actually a technology-based company that want to use pre-owned car as a mean to establish trust in our brand. That's who we are. In terms of Indonesia, we've been operating since 2017. We have wholesale business in which we buy pre-used car and sell it to used car dealer. And then we have retail business, which is we sell, refurbish pre-owned car to individual consumers such as yourself and myself.
Okay.
So that's the business today. As of today, we in addition to our online platform, it is supported by our 44 physical location.
This is all over Indonesia now?
All over Indonesia, correct. 10 of which is experience centers, which is to serve retail business to the individual consumers, and 34 are our branches and inspection centers, which are for our wholesale business serving used car dealers.
Yeah.
So the way we look at ourselves, we're phygital, physical and digital.
Yeah, so you have both brick and mortar, but you also exist on the e-commerce platform, obviously. Now,
Correct.
let's just go back to the history of CARSOME itself. You said this is one of the largest of Southeast Asia for buying and selling of pre-owned cars, used cars, second-hand cars, whatever. But the idea of the business model itself.
Sure.
I mean, in Indonesia, you said you started in 2017. Obviously, it's much longer, right? In Southeast Asia.
Correct, in Malaysia, yes.
In Malaysia. When did it actually start?
So CARSOME was established in 2015
2015.
by two gentlemen, which are the co-founders of the company, of the whole group. One is Eric Chang, and second is Jion E. Teo, or JT. So CARSOME was born in a very humble shop house, Ruko, back in 2015. Out of a bad experience that both Eric and JT had when they tried to actually buy a used car back then. The transaction is not convenient, and they don't even know whether the price that they're getting offered by the used car dealer is actually the fair price based on the car condition that is maybe not transparent or not readily available. So then they set up, okay, this is it. There's a real problem we need to solve, and hence CARSOME was born.
Okay, but their background themselves, they have technical backgrounds,
No.
IT backgrounds, or do they...
Marketing background.
Marketing background. Do they
Yes.
know a lot about cars?
No, I think CARSOME was born out of passion to solve
Okay.
a real problem. And that's where the journey actually begins.
But then they leverage the digital platform, obviously. Now, because what I find interesting is that there's so many, started with startups, companies that starts with an idea, born out of an idea and a need. And you don't have to, be sort of an expert in that area, but you leverage, the digital and the technology so that you can
Correct.
create this need. And CARSOME is something like that, isn't it?
Yeah. So it's born out of obviously passion and grit, right? It's just something new. You have a passion to solve a real problem in the industry, and what they did is they do whatever it takes to get the job done, whatever the problem is.
So how does it work? It's both physical. Obviously, it has like a showroom. People come here and experience, like
Sure.
you say, and check around and see what's available. But also, it's based on an e-commerce, on a platform.
Correct.
So how, what is the role of CARSOME? Is this like, the platform owner? Is it a bit like, when we have anything online, when you have the marketplace and then the buyers and the sellers, they meet and then they're facilitated by the platform? Is that how it works?
Okay, so let me just give you a brief overview of CARSOME. So we do buy and sell car. And then we also have online classified business, which is iCar Asia.
Yeah.
Under Indonesia, the brand name is Mobil 123 and Carmudi.
Yeah.
And we also have automobile content and social media, which is AutoFun. And then we also have our auction business for motorcycle and car, which is PT Universal Collection. Now, but then zooming into CARSOME, so we do both what we call phygital approach, physical and digital approach. We have our web portal, we have our app, and we have our physical locations.
Yeah.
Customers can open our portal, can open our app to browse our single unified inventory, as opposed to having to visit different locations to see their car.
Yeah.
They can make a booking through the online platform. They can schedule a test drive, right? And then they can also, once it's done, they can also go to the experience center that they want, they appointed, or the car can be brought to them for test drive. And from there, on our offline location, they can complete the transactions then. So right now in Indonesia, we have 44 offline locations, physical locations nationwide, in Java, Bali, Sumatra, Kalimantan, and Sulawesi. And that's 44 actually out of the total 120 physical locations that we have in the region, in 4 markets.
So normally when we want to buy a used car, like you said, we either go through newspaper and see if somebody's selling the second-hand car, or obviously now online. But then normally after that, it's you go and make an appointment with that person, and then you go there, and then you buy the car directly from that person. Who owns? I mean, do you buy the car?
Yeah.
And then CARSOME sells it, so that is there a link between the seller and the buyer, or basically you are the one facilitating the whole process? Because it's a very different experience then,
Sure.
obviously, than meeting the owner of the car and actually doing a transaction and negotiating with the owner of the of the car, right?
Yeah, so good question by Desi. So I think just to answer that question, we actually buy the car and sell it to a buyer.
Okay.
So it is our car. So why we do that model? Because we believe that because of our operational excellence through our inspection capability that can inspect 175 points of any given car to arrive at a fair price determination, and also our pricing algorithm based on our technology and data that we have amassed since our inception 2015 and 2017 in Indonesia.
Yeah.
We're able to be able to source the car, the right car at the right price, and sell it to the end user, be it wholesale dealers, used car dealers, or even individual customer
Okay.
at an appropriate price.
Okay, so you actually own the car then?
Correct.
So it becomes like these cars you have here. See some examples. These are all pre-owned cars? Or?
They are pre-owned cars. They are refurbished pre-owned cars.
Okay.
So the cars that you see here in our experience center are the cars that we're looking to sell to individual consumers such as yourself. And why they call CARSOME certified car, which is essentially a refurbished pre-owned car, is because they come with a CARSOME promises. CARSOME promises comprise of 4 points. Number one, they've gone through inspection in 175 points.
175 points. Okay, now you're using jargons here. Okay,
So-
okay. Let's make it simple. Say I have a car.
Sure.
I want to sell. Okay, and I go, Andrew, I've got a car. I want to sell. Okay, now let's go step by step. What is it that the process until you said, all right, I'll buy your car?
Sure.
Maybe this is easier for us to
Good question. All right.
understand.
So you can go to our site, portal or app, and schedule a inspection because
Right.
you say you want to sell your car. You can either schedule it for the inspection to be done at your home, at your convenience, or you can go to any inspection centers, physical locations.
And this is all done online. I
Online.
said, this is the brand of the car, this is the year.
Exactly. So
Please
then,
come and take a look.
correct.
And give me a good price.
There you go. And then somebody will come, inspect your car. Inspector will inspect your car about 45 minutes, and roughly about an hour to 2 hours post-inspection, or from post the start of an inspection, you will then get a price offering of how much your car worth based on the inspection report. So that's why we said, beating external competition is something finite. It has an end. It's uncontrollable. But if we set ourselves competitor, it's like beating yourself every day, day in, day out. It's a commitment that never ends.
Okay, now, the pricing. Obviously, I want to have the best price.
Sure.
Okay, and you said that there is an algorithm in determining the price. Tell us a little bit about the algorithm and how to determine the price and the inspections. What are the things that need to be inspected for you to come up with the fair price for me?
So the inspection is actually as a way for us to collect data that then will input into our pricing engine, which is part of our platform, right? The determinant of a car price typically is your year, the year of the car's manufactured, obviously the brand, the type, color, license plate number,
Yep.
and then the inspection report quality if it identifies any defects or prior accident, or what's common in Indonesia is
Flood. Yeah.
So all of those
You will
factors.
take cars that has it's been a flood victim.
Not necessarily. So we try to obviously not to take those cars, minimize those cars, because obviously our commitment is to be able to sell high quality pre-owned car to our customers, be it used car dealers or individual
And the
consumers.
175 inspection points that you were talking about earlier?
Yes, it comprises of 175 different points in exterior, interior, machine, which is underneath the car, right?
So there's actually 175 things to check.
Correct.
Okay, and this whole process takes how long?
45 minutes
Only 45 minutes. And
on average.
On average, okay. So, and then afterwards, what do you give me the estimate of offer a price there and then, or?
Yeah, so the inspector will then, obviously the inspection is the data collection, input it into our platform. Our platform will then determine what is the fair price of your car based on
And
that
how long will
report.
it take for you to come up with the offer?
On average, since the start of inspection until you get the offer, probably like an hour and a half.
An hour and a half. So,
Yes.
so has that been, you know, the average time it takes for somebody to actually sell their car with CARSOME? You know, they call and then an hour and a half later, they know whether you want to buy the car.
Correct, but
or
then
not.
excluding the negotiation, right? Because obviously you have price expectation,
Okay.
and that takes time,
And you can negotiate, obviously.
of course.
All right. And in general, you know, what sort of price range, you know,
Ooh.
fair price range that you give? Is it?
I think the price range in terms of comparison to expectation is actually pretty subjective because a lot of it is determined by your subjective
Yeah.
evaluation of how much the car is worth.
Okay. Since 2017 until now, say how many cars have you bought and sold? CARSOME? Do you have any sort of a ballpark figure?
So since our inception regionally, back in 2015 until now, which is our 7th year of operation, we have completed about 260,000 transactions.
Transactions. This is in Indonesia, or this is in the whole of South?
Across the 4 markets that we exist, which is Malaysia, Singapore, Thailand, Indonesia.
What about in Indonesia?
So look, Indonesia, so monthly we sold across the region more than 18,000 cars. Right? Indonesia makes a big significant chunk of that
18,000 cars
in the region,
in the region.
across
Per
the 4
month.
markets per month.
Okay.
So with the rate of growth that Indonesia is experiencing, which is poised to continue going forward, I think by end of the year, we expect to contribute to 40% of our total group business, which is the revenue.
Okay. And has the pandemic actually affected the used cars market, the
Oh.
sales in Indonesia, or?
Pandemic impacts many aspects of our life, many sectors globally, including Indonesia, right? But what pandemic did is actually it became a trigger for adoption of digital things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Many
Everything, you know, buying, selling, whether it's your food, your groceries, or
Exactly.
you know, doing even you know, banking and
Yeah.
everything is online. So now you can buy used cars as well online. But the adoption of this, how since the beginning, since your presence in Indonesia until now, what sort of kind of increase you see of people using online platform to actually buy their cars?
You pinpoint a very interesting point of view there. So I think pandemic triggers adoption of digital, and that's where we actually see the opportunity to adapt. And exactly just at the onset of pandemic, that's when we launched our retail business, which is this experience center is all about. Retail business, we sell, refurbish pre-owned car to consumer. That was born out of pandemic. We launched 2020 in Malaysia for the retail business, which is under the campaign of new way of buying car, and followed in Indonesia in 2021.
Okay.
Now, retail business has shown tremendous growth. Since its inception, which is 2020, which is within 2 years post-inception, we have grown like 10x, 10 folds year on year.
10 times.
Correct.
Wow.
As we speak, retail business contributes roughly about 29% of the overall group business across the 4 markets. By end of the year, we expect retail business to contribute 50% of total revenue across the 4 markets.
Are there anybody else doing something similar to CARSOME, and do you have competitors now in this kind of business model? Obviously, you know, if a business model is successful, there's bound to be, you know, copycats, and you know, then the market gets quite competitive and full.
Not a good question, Desi. So, look, I think the fact that it's a space where there are a lot of our peers in it is a testament to obviously the potential of the market, where it is now, where it's going to grow in medium to long term, but it's also testament to there's a real problem that we all need to solve, right? Look, obviously there are many external peers that we are in the space that we're operating in, but I think above all, our mindset's always, we view ourselves as our biggest competitor. Now that's
interesting. So you have to keep improving and innovating in order to succeed.
correct. So let me just elaborate more, right? So like I think our view is that if you were to set competitor as your external, then it's something that has a finite, it has an end. And to a certain extent, there are factors that you cannot control. So for example, if I say beat company A, and then they stop innovating, and then what, are we done? No. So that's why we said, no, beating external competition is something finite, it has an end, it's uncontrollable. But if we set ourselves competitor, it's like beating yourself every day, day in, day out. It's a commitment that never ends. And it's reflected in one of our 6 core values, which says, yesterday's best is today's baseline. It's all about...
So it's all about increasing the bar to get higher and higher.
Correct.
But you have to have, you know, in a full and very competitive market, obviously, you have to have that value. You have to have that
Correct.
competitive edge, you know, differentiation. What would you say that you basically, in order to raise the bar, what are the things that you constantly need to do to make sure you have that competitive edge, to make sure that you are a leader in the more or less growing and crowded industry?
Not a good question. So I think that we can see like the testament to this during pandemic, right? Where we had to adapt, where we have to navigate through unprecedented time, and then all the limitation that pandemic brought to us. So then, as we adapt and navigate, there are 3 aspects as we, go through that uncharted waters. One is that our vision serves as our destination. Our mission serves as the road to get to the destination.
Yeah.
And our core values, 6 core values, are the road rules in that road to get to the destination. So vision is obviously we want to create trust with CARSOME brand. Mission is we want to provide peace of mind in car ownership experience of a pre-owned car. And the 6 core values is customer first, do more with less, right? Think big, start small. Yesterday's best is today's baseline. Your problem is my problem, and 6 is stay grounded. So those are our 6 values. I think the most basic foundation that builds, in which our business is built, is what we call trust. Whereby when people see the CARSOME brand, the first thing that comes to their mind is trust.
The vision, mission, spoken like a true CEO and marketer, Andrew. Let's explore more a little bit about the business model, because when I do interviews like this, especially with the things that are based on technology and based on innovation, and also I see that you're all very young here. This is very much sort of the millennial, the new way of doing things. I'm always fascinated how to organize and structure so that the goal is met. I mean, there is a Southeast Asia, obviously. It's both international and yet it's local. And the team here, and how does it work? How does the business model, when it comes to what is it that actually creates the value, you know, whether it's the volume of users, the number of transactions, or are there the other things that the digital aspect actually adds to it? You know, tell us a little bit more about how the whole thing, you know, works. And
So I think a business model obviously entails many things, right? The holistic aspect of a business. Obviously, you have profitability, revenue, growth, users, name it, right? Because we're a physical and digital model.
And volume is, of course, very important, and people actually using the platform is very important.
Exactly. But I think the most basic foundation that builds in which our business is built is what we call trust. And there are two aspects of trust that I want to highlight. One is CARSOME certified cars, which is a refurbished pre-owned car, right?
And there is actually a certificate that
so it comes with
every car
So it comes with a CARSOME promise, which is one, as I mentioned before, he has gone through 175 points of inspection. There's no hidden fees. Whatever price that you see on our app is what you pay. There's no additional fees. Third is, if you buy a CARSOME certified car, it comes with 5-day money-back guarantee. For whatever reason you're not satisfied with your car purchase, within 5 days, you can return it to us, 100% money-back guarantee. And it comes with 1-year warranty.
1 year?
1-year warranty. Now, we're doing all of this because we want to build trust in the pre-owned vehicle, right? Now, the second component of trust we want to build, I mentioned CARSOME certified car is one. Now, CARSOME certified lab embodies the mean to produce CARSOME certified car, which is the mean for us to deliver trust to our customer. So yes, again, our business entails many aspects, be it conventional way of looking at business, revenue, growth, profitability. On the digital side, you have 14 million monthly visitors, for example.
14 million?
Yes,
Yeah,
across the core market.
Currently, and it's got, and as you said, every year it goes up by exponentially, 10 times. So people are, more and more people are using e-commerce in order to, buy and sell their cars. This is a trend that is
correct. That's a trend that we've seen. It has been happening, and there's a trend that we see going forward. It will continue to happen. Okay,
and the revenue aspect, obviously, because you're more than just a digital company, you are also, we have the products to sell. Does it come from mainly the margin between the buying price and the selling price, and where does the main chunk of the revenue of the company comes from?
So actually, we have a pretty diversified revenue streams, right?
Like you mentioned about the retail aspect as well.
Correct. And then we also have, for example, Mobil 123 and Carmudi, which is a auto content and online classified ads, which is a different business model, right? And different monetization scheme. And then we also have a auction house, licensed auction house company, PT Universal Collection.
So there's quite a few revenue streams, but what is the biggest revenue stream? Would you say is the buying and the selling of the cars?
Look, I think, last thing I want to add is about the Auto Fund, which is a auto content and social media, right? So all of this different revenue stream, different business model actually contributes to our growth. That for now, we're on track, and to expect Indonesia to contribute 40% of total group revenue.
But the appetite for used cars, how do you see it in Indonesia, especially now? I look at it. This is electric vehicles. How do you see, in the future, both the appetite for buying used cars and also particularly in Jakarta, for example, where people are being sort of, they're encouraged to use public more and more. People use public transportation such as buses and MRTs. How do you see Indonesia 5-10 years from now, and where do you see, where can CARSOME come in and actually take advantage of growing trends?
Sure. So we launched a survey back in 2021 about just to our customers about used car and what their view of the pre-owned vehicle. And a couple of things, we see that there's an increasing interest to purchase car, especially pre-owned vehicle,
Yeah.
because of safety and convenience. This is driven by pandemic, right? They would rather be more, they're more comfortable in driving their own car versus in transportation because of the pandemic risk. And then it's more affordable, pre-owned.
Of course,
Right.
much much cheaper than buying brand new cars.
Correct. And it's more availability. They're more readily available compared to new car because of the impact of pandemic, which is the global supply chain shock and also shortage of semiconductor
Yeah.
chip that impacts the availability of new car. A lot of times now, people want to buy a new car, they have to wait months or
Yeah,
even...
absolutely. Inden, we call it.
Yes.
Harus inden, 6 bulan.
Correct. And it's like model years.
Yeah.
Right? Now, look, going forward, where I see where CARSOME actually going to play a role in the industry is, look, we're still going to stay true to our vision, which is our destination.
Do you have a target of how many used cars or pre-owned cars that you want to sell every month or every year? And is the target always increasing, or how does it work?
So the ultimate goal of CARSOME, beyond just the revenue target, beyond the volume target, is that we want to be able to establish whereby when people see the CARSOME brand, the first thing that comes to their mind is trust. That is the ultimate single goal that we want to achieve. This goes beyond
Yeah.
numbers. And how we're going to achieve that CARSOME equals to trust is through pre-owned vehicle business that we're in. So it's a mean to that end.
I know, but you have to have some kind of target, because that is also your... I mean, say for example, this year you sell 5 cars, obviously next year you want to double that and sell, 10 cars. I mean, is this something that is, because like you said, particularly, the appetite is increasing for used cars, but then at the same time, there is this going ahead. I think people will buy less and less cars in general in the world or in Southeast Asia, or at least they switch to electric vehicles.
Correct.
So this is where perhaps the business model or the strategy needs to be adjusted.
So look, I think we are a what I would say we're a localized regional company, right? We're a regional company. We exist in 4 markets, but in every market we're
It's
led,
different, yeah.
run by local people. We work with local people. We invest in local talent, right? And Indonesia, because we respect the country we're in. I'm Indonesian. We also respect all the regulation, government that dictates the rules and regulation. So we want to be always supportive and compliant, right? Now, with respect to electric vehicle, in the next 5 to 10 years, obviously we're supportive of government's, plan, whereby EV will contribute 25% of total car sales by 2030. We want to be supportive of that, and I think one of the car that you see behind us here is an EV. It's actually a testament of our step to that direction of supporting our government.
Absolutely, because I think the government wants to phase out anything with carbon emission by 2030, because we do have a big target, and one of the things that they also want to start with exactly that. Things to do with electric vehicle is the number one, as well as the batteries, obviously. Although I think it's going to be quite challenging, particularly for Indonesia, where people are still very much attached to their big cars and gas guzzling.
So how can we offer trust, transparency, and choice to our customer in their car transaction, so that they have a peace of mind in the whole experience of ownership of pre-owned car?
Your office, the CARSOME in Indonesia, how many people now do you have? You have 44 branches, but we're talking about how many people employed, and
We have more than 1,000 people strong in the country, nationwide.
And they are what are their backgrounds? Because obviously this is like you're both a physical and a digital company.
Sure.
What kind of workforce?
So it's pretty diverse workforce coming from different background, right? We have people coming from automotive, we have people coming from technology background. So, but what's important is all of this collaboration of people from different background, different capability is governed by one of our core value as well, which is your problem, my problem.
Yeah.
It's a collaboration, across the functions, across even the market. I collaborate with Thailand, Singapore, Malaysia, just to learn the best practice in that country and how to apply it in the context of Indonesia, right? So that's.
So are you answerable to the headquarters in Malaysia? You basically have an autonomy to do whatever it is here. How does the reporting work in the system? Because this is both a local and a Southeast Asian-based company, obviously.
So obviously it comes with a degree and fine balance between standardization and also localization and / autonomy that each of the market has to operate, right? I think one thing I want to highlight the fact that our goal for Indonesia is quite tremendous, which is
it is the largest country in ASEAN, right?
Correct. So we're expected to contribute to 40% of total business by end of the year, for example.
Is that a big burden on your shoulder? Responsibility?
That speaks a lot to the trust that we're given, and to a certain extent empowerment that we're entrusted for in the country.
And you're confident you can achieve that target?
Look, I have the right team, the right people, right mindset. It's just a matter of time we'll get there.
Okay, but what are the main? Well, there's got to be challenges, obviously. What are the most difficult aspects in actually, carrying out this type of business and meeting targets and making sure that quality is and trust is all there and getting all your vision and mission implemented?
So I think the challenges that we face, obviously the same challenges that everyone faces in the industry.
Yeah.
Right. I think from our perspective, there are three main challenges that we face. One is the ability to constantly source good quality pre-owned cars. Number two, the number of intermediaries in any given transaction value chain between the most upstream seller and to the most downstream buyer. And number three is the inaccurate and maybe prices that are not true reflection of fair price of any given car. Those are the three main challenges. Now, on the ability to constantly source good quality pre-owned vehicle.
What do you do? Advertise, obviously. Or
yes, but then
make yourself known that, hey, we're here to help.
So that problem is because obviously, there is resilient demand from end consumers to buy pre-owned vehicle, right? And then how we do it is obviously we leverage our technology, platform and data to be able to optimally source from first-hand seller and on the intermediaries, and then the price not being fixed, price not being fair and inappropriate is because of the lack of transparency of information regarding the quality of that car. And how we solve it is in any business we conduct, be it wholesale, when we sell pre-owned vehicle to used car dealer, or even retail, selling CARSOME certified car, which is a refurbished pre-owned vehicle to individual consumers. We conduct it transparently.
Yep.
The inspection report that we did to your car before we buy, we make it available to the buyer so that they can gauge, facilitate their decision-making process to arrive at a fair price.
Okay, so if I want to buy one of the cars here, then I know that I can change my mind after 5 days and I return it, and also it'll have a 1-year guarantee, and basically it's good to run on the road. But in terms of sourcing the car, obviously people sell their cars for different reasons, particularly in Indonesia. What are the profile of the sellers, and how does it impact with you actually, the success rate on buying the car? Because here, I know that in Indonesia, normally we buy things with credits.
Okay, correct.
And
Yes.
also, when we want to sell things, we have to make sure that it's actually it's ours. But a lot of people, maybe they need to sell their cars because they need the money and so on and so forth. It can get quite complicated, doesn't it? The whole process. How does it get simplified by having CARSOME actually take away some of that headache?
Thank you. So actually, it speaks a lot to the solutions that we offer to both seller and buyer, of pre-owned vehicle, right? From sellers, we source from both end consumers such as us and also from corporate sellers, right?
Companies,
Yes.
wanting to get rid of their fleet of.
Correct. Catering to different need, the different seller profile, we have different channel as well to source and buy their car. We have CARSOME model, which is buying outright, or we have also our mobile 123, in which you can list your car in such a classified, like an online yellow page, for people to actually see your car listed, and they would contact the direct seller and transact.
And then they can do it on their side.
Then we have the auction model, which is PT Universal Collection, which is an auction fee-based model, right? So that's how we cater to different kind of needs of seller, different profile. Now, to answer your question, sometimes, when I...
Andrew, I need cash now. I want to sell my car, but I still, owe money in the car. But can you help me with whatever, pay off my debt by buying my car?
So that comes when we actually get to buy your car from CARSOME perspective, right? When we buy a car, 45 minutes inspection and 1 to 1.5 hours after the start of inspection, we'll give you offer, you okay, money's in the bank. Then you can use the money, and that's your money, right? And we buy your car. And that's on the seller side, right? On the buyer side, we do offer, obviously, outright cash purchase, but we also do what we say, a financing.
Okay, so you give credits as well.
Correct.
Okay.
We work with partners to extend financing to consumers. Another thing. Also for our used car dealer as a buyer in our wholesale business, we also give them terms of payment. Meaning that if before they have to pay first and then collect the car from us, now the dealers get up to like 30 or even 60 days of terms of payment. They can take the car, pay 30, 60 days later. That's some of the solutions that we offer.
Okay, and in terms of pricing, are you quite competitive? Because, like you said, so many car dealership, and they obviously also get hold of a lot of pre-owned or second-hand cars, and, they will, after you spend a lot of money on refurbishing and something, what kind of margin is it that you normally, ideally like to have from all of these transactions, but still be competitive when it comes to selling the car?
Okay, no worries. Good question again, Desi. So I think when you looked at
because there's always a gap, right, between
Yes.
I want to sell my car for 100, for example, and you go there, no, this is only worth 50 or something, and then you refurbish it and then you sell it for, I don't know, 120 or something. There's always that kind of I know, because I've sold quite a few of cars in the past, and it's quite tricky getting that transaction actually being close to everybody's satisfaction.
So look, I think from us, right, our commitment to in every business conduct that we do, be it buying and selling to used car dealers or even individual consumers, we always conduct it transparently, right? For whatever, for whatever price we give you is based on our inspection report, and we'll show you that this is it. And so that's number one. And number two, in terms of our pricing to end consumers, the fact that, as I said before, our retail business, within 2 years of launch, we've shown 10x growth year over year. Speaks a lot to our ability to obviously offer fair price to our individual customer. Because not only price, right? You also need to consider value of the CARSOME promise. The 5-day money back guarantee, 1-year warranty, no hidden fees, and then 175 points, half pass 175 points of inspection. Now these are the value for us that we invest in, so that we can create trust to our customer.
Okay, well, it's an interesting. It's very. I see it's integrated. Is this the new way of doing business these days, Andrew? Would you think? Not just for selling cars, but for everything, where you have. Obviously not just the product, but also the platform, and then you have all the other things, the financing. So it's very much like an ecosystem.
Correct.
In itself. And do you see most, even the automotive industry is moving or heading in that direction?
So you're right, Desi. So to pinpoint that, this is actually everything that I just mentioned to you about our business model, our value proposition, our investment, where we focus is vision, mission, core values. Those are actually, for one single purpose, right? So how can we offer trust, transparency, and choice to our customer in their car transaction, so that they have a peace of mind in the whole experience of ownership of pre-owned car. That's the whole purpose, right? Now, going back into whether the rest of our peers actually have the same interpretation of addressing the industry. Look, I cannot speak on behalf of other peers because I don't know, but at least for us, we believe that our model, which is predicated on investment in trust building, is what...
It's working.
Exactly. So, but then what we have been able to do is that, yes, we're a regional company, but we don't be a localized regional company, meaning that in each of the market, it's being operated, managed, run, led with local people who speaks the language, who knows the local nuances, the dynamic, who knows the stakeholders, who to partner with, who not to partner with.
Any rooms for, like, you have to, next year you have to be better than this year? What are the rooms for improvement currently, and any, new strategies, new innovation that you are coming up with?
Okay. So 3 things. Number 1, we want to stay consistent, stay true to our phygital approach. Invest in our online platform to keep on innovating and offer solutions to our customer. Invest in our physical locations, currently 44.
And how many would you like to expand to?
As many as it takes to get us closer to our customer. Okay?
What are the most productive out of all these 44? Which areas are the profit centers, so to speak, or the growth centers?
Okay. Look, I think in terms of size, growth, each of the different locations obviously is dictated by the local nuances, right? But I think to give you a high-level guidance is that you just follow where the population concentration is.
Java, obviously. Well,
Yeah.
Jakarta would be one of the biggest
Correct.
market. Yeah?
Now, but then for us, what's important is, yes, we know where we are today and we know where our customers are today, but we need to eventually plan for what it will be in 5-10 years. So that's why I said we'll keep on investing in physical locations.
We'll be moving to IKN, East Kalimantan, it's in the next 5-10 years. So
Yeah.
that's where the growth center will be. Although they will not have any, not too many cars there, I hear. If there are cars, it'll all be electric.
which we will be, which we will play a very proactive role in supporting that as well.
Okay. And the other thing which maybe Indonesia is a little bit different from Southeast Asia is in terms of the brands and the principles of the cars.
Yep.
So is there a profile, of what cars are the most... This is also perhaps something for people when they want to buy a car and want to at some point to resell it. Are there ones that are more popular than others and can actually obviously achieve better resale price? Is Indonesia different in this aspect to other markets in Southeast Asia? Yeah.
Very much so. You rightly pinpointed, the right facts. So yes, we are, again, regional companies. There's 4 different markets.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's where we see, each of the market has its own nuances, different market dynamics, different players, different structure. So, but then what have been able to do is that, yes, we're a regional company, but we don't be a localized regional company, meaning that in each of the market, it's being operated, managed, run, led with local people who speaks the language, who knows the local nuances, the dynamic, who knows the stakeholders, who to partner with, who not to partner with. So,
And we have trends when it comes to car buying, whether it's, now everybody wants to have a white car, or everybody wants to have a black car, or everybody wants to have, like a Japanese car as opposed to, a European car because it has a better, resale value and so on and so forth. This is something quite interesting. Do you see the uniqueness in the Indonesian market when it comes to people's relationship with the type of cars they buy, the models, the brands? That's very different from the other markets.
Obviously, there are overlaps across the market, which is a common denominator in terms of preference of brand, preference of type that we see here and we see the other market. It's a fact. But obviously in Indonesia, it's also different because, yes, there's a common denominator, but we also have our own uniqueness in terms of preference, right? And then,
what do most Indonesians prefer when they buy cars? What is it that they're really looking for? What is the first thing that they ask?
Well, I think the value of the resale is a big determinant. That
it's a big factor.
Is a big factor. That's number one. And second is fuel efficiency.
Oh, they ask about fuel. They don't ask about the most popular brand or the most.
No, I think it comes with it's an output of all of these factors being considered, right?
And then fuel efficiency, of course. Now the price of fuel.
Correct.
Going up. Do you think with the price of fuel going up and everything would actually dampen people's appetite in the future to buy new cars, especially since this is a very real. It hits you. Right in the pocket. Do you already feel a kind of?
Look, in my view, I think what's going to happen is that I think, given all the macro factors that's been happening right now, obviously all the players, all the peers, be it new car or even pre-owned vehicle players such as us, be it offline, online, we'll also need to adapt and make a necessary adjustment to cater to a new reality such as this. So at the end, we always want to keep on serving a customer despite what's happening that's beyond our control. So focus on about service, building trust, offering car transparently, in a transparent manner, and also offer selection and choice of car that they can buy based on their level of affordability. You want to buy the low-end, low-cost car, you want to buy a premium car, you want to buy EV, those are what we focus on.
Okay, so what will CARSOME look like 5 years from now?
5 years from now? All right, so it's actually when people see the brand, trust will be the first thing that pops up in their mind. That is our aim, short, medium, long term.
And will you expand to other areas of the business in the future? More revenue streams, more activities?
So about our vision, right? But one of the exact vision is that creating most trusted vehicle ownership ecosystem. And what I mean ecosystem, it goes beyond just buying and selling car. So we're always looking for a business that we can grow to, that can help our customer to be part of that trusted ecosystem.
Okay, ecosystem is very much a word now we hear these days. Everything has to be integrated. Everything has to be on a much wider platform. We can't just be niches. We cannot work in silos.
Correct.
So I think this is particularly when everything is based on digital technology. This is where I think the business of the future is now, will head to. Very quickly, Andrew, because you're still very young and you're already running, this is basically a multinational, brand. What are your own personal, your own challenge or your own passion and also your own kind of, strategy as a leader in trying to make sure that, you meet those very high and ambitious targets that you are responsible for?
So,
how has it been?
So obviously it's been quite of a challenging yet rewarding journey so far, right? And I think going forward that will remain as such. Now, despite all those challenges, I think one thing that we have been able to do at CARSOME is that we able to unify a lot of our team under the single one purpose, which is don't look at this company as a company just merely selling pre-owned car to end customer. This is a company that's technology based, that is looking to build trust by using car as a mean to get there, which is a higher calling, higher purpose that everybody actually aspire to and get aligned to, and they get fired up to do it. And I'm one of the 1,000 people in Indonesia that is part of that team to get there.
And your real passion, what would you say? Where does it lie?
So look, at the end, I'm Indonesian from here. My real passion is actually to bring positive impact to the country and to the industry in which organization I'm part of. Redefine the industry, revolutionize it. So that's my focus now.
All right, well, good luck, and I wish you every success. And it's always for me a pleasure to talk to young professionals, a CEO who actually, basically in today's world, everything you have to be out there when it comes to innovation, out there when it comes to actually making a difference. And it's good to see that you're doing so well, Andrew, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you, Desi.
And I'm pretty sure you can be role models for a lot of other young people wanting to go out there and start leading a company, especially a multinational company.
Thank you for your kind word and encouragement.
Okay. Ya, dan demikian Insight with Desi Anwar kali ini. Jangan lupa Anda juga dapat menyaksikan acara ini di cnnindonesia.com dan di YouTube Insight with Desi Anwar. Sekali lagi, kita masih dalam suasana pandemi, jadi tetap menjaga protokol kesehatan. Sampai jumpa, stay safe, bye-bye.
Terima kasih Anda baru saja menyaksikan Insight with Desi Anwar. In association with